Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Landon, back again with another episode of Beyond Tomorrow Recruiting. Today, we actually have a really cool guest as well. I know this has been a lot of firsts because of these first few videos, but this will be our first player interview with Elijah Bailey, who is a 3A high school basketball player who ultimately ended up committing to an NAIA school. Pretty big jump. So, let's run this intro, then we'll jump in some questions. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Tomorrow Recruiting. Today, we are talking to Eli Bailey. We're going to jump right in. I love his story. I love his experience over the last year, and we'll kind of jump right in. So I'll let Eli do a quick introduction, and then we'll get into some questions.
Hey, this is Eli Bailey. I'm going to Rocky Mountain College this fall. Rocky Mountain College is an NAIA school.
The cool thing about Eli's story is a lot of players have a feeling that if they're not at a big 5A, 6A, some states like Texas, 7A schools, that getting to a 4-year school right out of high school isn't going to be a possibility. So the cool thing is Eli's here to show you guys that it is possible. Just a little backstory on how Eli and I know each other. I was working at an exposure camp last summer, so the summer of 2022. We crossed paths. I got to watch him play. We connected. We touched base. We stayed in contact. I actually created a social media account on my Twitter, which Eli and I started following each other, sharing each other's content and things like that. So, first question for you, Eli, is let's kind of talk about the last year. So, from the summer right before your senior year to now, some of your workouts, some of the things that you did to kind of get your name out there with exposure camps, your social media presence. Give the listeners a little bit of insight into what you've done over the last year through your senior year to kind of get your name out there and ultimately lead to your commitment.
Okay, so last summer I started doing a AAU team with this little team in Farmington, Club Dub basketball. So we started doing a bunch of tournaments and stuff like that. Every single tournament I went to, I made sure that I found someone to either film my game or who was already filming my game, and I would go and ask for their film. So that was a really big thing, in my opinion, was I went out and I got that film to make sure that what I was doing on the court was being filmed and I could show coaches that. So during that summer, I made a little basketball page on Instagram, and I made a Twitter and a lot of other social medias. And I actually do think that that was a big help for me to just get my name out there and kind of get the coaches seeing my film. So I would take that film that I got from my games and stuff in those tournaments, and um, I would edit it. I would get it out. I'd post it on those Instagram accounts, and I would post clips, highlight film, all that good stuff onto those pages. And yeah, I would send that out to coaches, and then going into my senior year of high school, like having all that out, having that contact with the coaches and stuff, it was really good. So then they would watch my games throughout the season. They would come to my games, and yeah, it was a good deal. But yeah, and then I also went to a bunch of showcases, like the one that me and you went to, like that. What was it? The All American camp that was in Salt Lake. Yeah, that one was good. I got a lot of good contacts from
It's a
that one.
mountain
Just
hoops camp.
Yep, the Mountain Hoops camp. That was the biggest one for me. I think I got 3 college coaches that I stayed in contact. I mean, they were small, like NWAC
Mhm.
schools up there, like in Washington, Oregon. But yeah, no, that was a good deal. Just going to as many showcases as you can, like really get yourself out there, like, and be that guy to go out there and like hoop though. Like when you go, don't feel pressure, like just go out there, do your thing, and then go and talk to as many coaches as you can. Like that's what I did at those as well. Like after I played a game, I would come, I would go out into the stands and I would go and find the coaches, be like, "Hey, my name's Eli Bailey. I go to Morgan. Um, like I'm playing at 2 o'clock." That's what I feel like is the biggest thing that a lot of players don't do is they don't go out there and they don't get coaches like come and watch them. They just hoop, like they just play and they don't talk to any coaches. Like that's what I felt like I did different than anyone else. But so yeah, going into the season, I had some contacts with college coaches, and yeah, I don't know. I hustled, man. Like a lot of people, they go and like they get coaches to like help them with the recruiting process. Like I did do that. Like I got a lot of help from like you and a couple other guys. But like, man, I hustled. Like I texted as many coaches as I could. I found the emails for every single coach in Wyoming, Idaho, Utah, Arizona, all over the place. And I was sending emails out, really trying to get myself out there and sending film, all that good stuff. So yeah, that was my journey even through the basketball season. Like I was still sending emails, I was still doing all that. And yeah, and then that's when I started texting the coach that I play for now, Coach Drykosen up in Montana. That's who, like, that's when I started texting him. Was like midway through my senior year, and we just stayed in contact. He was watching my film, all that good stuff. So yeah,
So
that's what I would say.
you definitely hit on a couple of really important points. One, I don't think kids understand how pivotal social media can be. It's free, so why would you not want to do it? But there's so many coaches that use that tool to connect with kids all over the country. Having a good social media presence is super, super important, and having content, good content on your social media is
Oh
super
yeah,
important. And you hit on both of those. And then the other important thing that you said is the FaceTime. I call it FaceTime, not like iPhone FaceTime, but go to showcases, play in these events where there's a coaches section, and just walk up and introduce yourself, shake hands, let them put a face with the name, and then it's like, oh, the 6'4" kid that did this and this and this. Yeah, I had notes on him, but now I'm gonna circle his name because I actually spoke with him face to face. I think a lot of kids just go to showcases, play, and then they go sit in the stands until it's
yeah,
time for their next game, and they don't understand like this is prime opportunity for you to
oh yeah,
shake hands with the guy who could potentially offer you down the road. So I'm glad you said that because I think those are two
yeah.
super important things that kids don't really think about when they're attending some of these events.
And that was the biggest thing for me coming in was I was just some kid from a school in 3A, right? Like no one knew who I was coming into it because there are a lot of guys there that like the coaches are there to watch. Like that's what I felt like a lot of showcases. Like I was kind of just a dummy to for these main guys to just play against so they can see them against competition. That's how I felt going in. I was like, no, I'm not going to be one of those guys. Like they're here to watch me. Like I'm going to clamp up those best kids that I know who um, they're all there to watch, right? Like my focus is to guard them and to show these coaches like you want me over him. Like that's how I always thought like going into these showcases. But yeah, go up, talk to as many coaches as you can. Like that's the biggest thing. And then also in social media, like the whole like DMing thing, like if you see a coach like your film or whatever that you post on social media, like go in their DMs, man, hit them up, like text them, get them, like get their number, keep in contact with them, you know?
Yeah, I think that not necessarily being aggressive, but that being persistent means a lot to a lot of coaches. I did a video with another coach, and he said, I love when players email me and players direct message me. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think more kids need to take that initiative and take that first step in that communication because these coaches are probably bombarded with hundreds of messages, but I
Oh
think
yeah.
when they know, hey, I liked this kid's video yesterday and he messaged me today, again, I think it's about creating that separation. It's about making yourself stand out, not only on the court, but I think in that communication aspect too, because they're probably looking at a ton of kids and they don't have a ton of spots. The NAIA coach that I talked to the other day, he said 7% of high school kids go on to play sports after high school. So it's like the competition, not only on the court, is crazy, but the competition to get that coach's attention and to get him to read your messages and to get him to respond and to get him to give you his phone number and then a text message and then a recruiting visit and then some highlight videos. Like the competition is everywhere when we're going from high school to that next level. So I think kids need to understand like a closed mouth doesn't get fed. And if you're afraid to do what somebody else is willing to do, you might end up missing out on an opportunity because you were afraid to take that step and reach out and make that communication.
Oh yeah. I mean, it shows a good drive, it shows a good work ethic. Like this is that's the stuff that college coaches want to see.
100.
Like that was one of the biggest things with my college coach was he was like, man, um, he told me to fill out forms, he told me to do all this stuff. Like I did it as soon as he told me to do it. Like, and he said that was a really big thing with recruiting me was um, he knows that I have a good work ethic because everything he said I did like soon. Like that's what stood me out with my coach for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right. You also touched on something super important that I want you to double back on and give the listeners a little bit more information. So, for everybody who doesn't know, which will be most of you guys, because I know I got people all over the country watching these videos, Morgan High School is not a big school. Okay. So, here in Utah, we have classifications based off student body population. So, the biggest classification is 6A in our state. And those are schools with 2,000, 2,300 kids in one high school boundary. Then it goes down, then it goes down, then it goes down. Morgan High School is a 3A school, not a huge student body. So we're going to talk about going from a small school to a big school recruiting wise, because I know a lot of players think if I play at a 2A, if I play at a 3A school, I'm only going to go NWAC, I'm only going to go JUCO, D3, D2, JUCO D1, NAIA, NCAA D2, NCAA D1 is only for these guys at these massive schools. So we're going to have Eli give you guys a little bit of his opinion on going from a small school to a 4-year school as a player experience. So we're going to turn that over to him to give you guys some of that insight as well.
Yeah, man. So Morgan High School, it's a really small school. It's a 3A. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't. There are a lot of people who think that it matters a lot about like classification. And honestly, I was one of those people. Like I did not think that being at my small school up in the mountains, like I did not think that I was going to get that much attention. And that's honestly what drove me to really put my name out there, put myself out there because I knew I wasn't going to be one of those guys from 6A that everyone knew. So, yeah, that was the biggest thing for me. Like, if you're at one of these small schools, like, you got to grind, like, you got to hustle, get your name out there. Like, yeah. But yeah, again, like, the competition is different, but it's really only um at a height like 3A everyone's more like 6'3", 6'2" ish, and then like as you get higher like it's like everyone's taller. But honestly, like we played a lot of big schools, and like we were really able to compete. Like we beat Timpanogos, East, all these schools. Like it really isn't that big of a deal. Like if you can hoop, you can hoop. It doesn't matter what classification you're at. So, and that's what like college coaches really honestly don't care. Like if they think that you can compete at their level, like they're gonna take you. So, yeah. And if you're at one of these small schools, like man, take some pride in that. Like you go to a showcase and everyone there is from 6A and 5A, man. Like give it to them because like like prove that 3A is not different. Like we got some tough mugs out here, man. Like yeah, so
I
that's what
agree.
I have to. Yeah, so
I agree.
yeah,
So obviously, I know, you're getting ready for school, you're heading up there. I know you're planning on getting there a little bit early, getting familiar with the city, getting familiar with the campus, starting some off-city workouts or off-season workouts with the team and getting acclimated to your new teammates. So I really do appreciate your time. This is the part of the video that I call the fourth quarter, where I just turn it over to the guests and give you guys some time to just say whatever you want people to know about your experience, about where you've been, where you're at, where you hope to go, and your workouts. I know you posted a ton of your workout videos and you were really getting
yeah,
in there working a ton. Obviously, I've always thought you were one of the most skilled guys, which is why we've always stayed in touch. And I passed your name on to coaches and things like that. But that work that I see on the court definitely comes from some of those workouts, those videos that you post and things like that. So um, just go ahead, and this is kind of like the fourth quarter. Give them your little, piece of advice, because a lot of upcoming seniors, guys that are class of 24s, are going to see these videos. So what do you want to tell the young guys that'll probably see this and give them some old head advice? You're the OG now.
yes, sir. Man, you gotta love the game. Like you gotta be out there. You gotta love putting in the work. Like be in the gym every single day. If you can't be in the gym every single day, you just don't love the game enough. And coaches are gonna know, like if you're not in the gym every single day. Like it really shows in your game. So go out there, man. Put in the work. Like work on ball handling. Work on everything. Love the game, man. Like and that just comes with putting yourself out there. Like you got to love the game enough to want to play it at the next level. If you want to play it at the next level, make it happen, man. Like go out there and do it. Like it's just it doesn't come to you. Like go out there, hustle, like I've said a million times. Like go out there, get your name out there, um and really just make the coaches want you. Like you got to be that guy. Like hustle on defense. Like just be that guy that can play at the next level. Like yeah, that's yeah. Like you gotta grind. Do good in school. Like school is huge. I had a good GPA. So and that's really what coaches want to see. They want to see good characteristics in a person. Like they want to see like you do good. Like you got it. You can't come in and just be a cancer to some college team, like they want good people in the locker room. They want leaders. Like be a leader on your team. Like if someone's messing around, like tell them to cut that stuff out. Like you gotta like keep people in check, be a good leader, because coaches like to see that. They also here's actually something that I battled with throughout my season. If I was in a slump, um, I really tried to pull myself out. Like there were some games where I started out bad. I'd have like 4 points in the first half, and I'd go into the locker room like, oh man, like, is this going to be one of those games? And then I'd snap out of it, and I'd be like, no, this is not. Like, it's a new half. Like, just keep playing. It's basketball. Like, I love this game. Like, it's a fun game. So go out there, take the pressure off, and just go out there and play. And then I would play so much better. Like, just the ability to um like come out of a bad start to a game is really important as well to play at the next level. Like you got to be able to play through so much mental, um, like just having that mental strength to just be able to pull out. Like that's something huge that a lot of players don't have, and all the players at the next level have. So being strong mentally is really is crucial to playing at the next level. So yeah, I think that's about all my advice. Yeah,
I agree. I think mental toughness is probably one of the most overlooked parts of basketball, not just making your way through AAU, through high school, getting to that next level. But I think that mental toughness is a part that once you do develop it and you understand it, it plays such a big part in your ability to help a team, because mental toughness can be, you might go to school or you might be on a team and think, oh, I should be the starting this, or I should have this role. And when the coach doesn't give you that role, do you get down on yourself, or do you have that mental toughness to really fight for that role that you want and be that player that you know you can be? But it takes that mental toughness that you were talking about. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
the sooner kids understand that and they develop it and they start working on it, and then it becomes part of their personality, part of their characteristics of who they are as a player, they automatically take another leap, because you know, okay, if this guy's not doing what he normally does for our team, but hey, your shot's not falling. I need you to go lock up the other team's best player. Hey,
Yeah.
you're not doing this well, but I know that you're mentally tough enough and I can't take you off the court. So let me have you step into this role. And those are kids that are ready to do it versus, oh, coach thinks I suck. I'm 0 for 6 right now. Coach thinks I suck and he just wants me to facilitate and get other guys the ball. Oh, I don't want to do that. This sucks. I hate it. I'm having a bad game. Take me out. And then when they sub you out, you're pouting, you're not smacking hands, you're not being loud on the bench, and you never know who's watching.
Yeah.
So
Oh
somebody
yeah.
could be like, oh, that kid doesn't have mental toughness when he's having a bad game. I don't want to recruit that kid. I'm not going to
Yeah.
answer his text messages. I don't want to, bring him on a recruiting visit. So I agree 100%. I think mental toughness is probably the most overlooked part of being a strong player, and probably the most important part. I mean, there's guys that aren't super skilled that get to play college ball or even overseas, or even guys in the NBA who aren't super skilled, but they know their role and they're mentally tough and they're going to fulfill
Yeah.
that role every game, and that's what makes them marketable. You can't have 5 guys on the court that are all trying to score 20 points. You got to have somebody willing to play D, somebody willing to be a 3-and-D guy, somebody willing to facilitate, a couple guys whose job it is to score. And if one of the scorers is having a bad game, or he fouls, 3 fouls in the first half, he gets in foul trouble, then somebody else steps into that scoring role for that game. But I think that mental toughness is such a big part, such an important part of playing at a high level, at any level, AAU, high school, or collegiately. So I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah. I mean, just having confidence in your abilities, man. Like, be confident in your ability to play basketball, especially if you put the work in.
Yep.
Like, just be confident in yourself, man. And also, another thing that I want to talk about as well is like someone who's playing in a 3A or a small school, right? Um, like, I'm 6'4", so I'm one of the taller kids on my team. So I've been playing like power forward. I even played center my sophomore year. Like, I was the starting center for the varsity team my sophomore year. And then every single year I moved a position up. But like, I'm the majority of the time I played power forward and small forward. And I always thought I was going to be able to play in college for that reason as well. Because like, no one wants a freaking 6'4" power forward center. You know what I mean? Like, that's just way too short. But I learned a lot from it. I've got really good footwork because of because of playing center and power forward. Like, that's just I also got a good motor. Like, I can go out there and I can get 10 rebounds in a game, like, because of that. And then I got my skill set to the point where like I'm going to be playing point guard and shooting guard in college. Like, that's just how I always knew. So someone who's playing center and power forward in high school, for these kids that are like at a smaller school and are in the situation, like, just go out there, believe in yourself, and work on your handles, work on guard skills, and get yourself up to that, to being able to play a guard. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. So you can
That's
take what you've
that's why
learned.
skill work is so important. I
Oh yeah.
tell guys, like, going to the rec center and playing 5-on-5 is super fun. I'm not going to discredit that, but the ability to get with your trainer and spend an hour and a half on ball handling, on shooting off the dribble, on like skill work is priceless because you never know when that growth spurt is going to hit, when that growth spurt is
Yeah.
going to stop. And, you look at guys like Anthony Davis, who was a point guard in high school, and then he grew 7 inches in 9 months and he moved from point guard to power forward. Well, because he had those ball handling skills and shot mechanics and the touch and the ability to move as a guard, he became one of the best bigs in the state. And I think the value of skill work is just insane. People
Oh
think,
yeah.
oh, I'm gonna go to the rec center. I'm gonna play pickup games for 4 hours, and that's gonna make me better. It's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna make you worse. But exactly what you just said, more kids need to really lock in on that and work on developing that all around game and those skills. Because if you do get an
Yeah.
opportunity to change positions and play at the next level, you want to be ready. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Be versatile, man. Like, especially if you're gonna go to a college and play, like, you don't know what position they're gonna put you at. Like, if you play point guard and you're like a taller point guard, like 6'5" or 6'4" or something, like maybe they'll move you to small forward. Like, then you got to be able to play better defense and like all that. So just be versatile. Like, you never know, like who's gonna go out, who's gonna graduate, like what spots are gonna open up, and you want to be able to fill whatever spot is available. Like you want to get that playing time. So yeah, be versatile.
Absolutely. Man, I'm going to definitely stay in touch with you through text. I'm still going to follow all your social media stuff. I'm still going to share your stuff. I'm still going to promote you and hype you up every chance I get. Go ahead and tell the people that are watching the video where they can find you on social media and follow your page.
So my Twitter is Eli Bailey 2. My Instagram is Eli Bailey basketball page or Eli Bailey. But yeah, that's where you can find me on social media.
Perfect. I'll drop a link to Eli's social media platforms in the comments below. Eli, again, man, thank you. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to drop some knowledge for the guys that are going to be hopefully following in your footsteps and going through the process and developing your work ethic and hopefully having similar success to what you've experienced and having that opportunity to get to the next level, man. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was good talking to you.
Absolutely, man. We'll stay in touch.
Okay, man.
See ya.